Hello. I'm enjoying my live stream. When I get away from some of the traffic noise, I'll speak more because I can't even hear myself over this. Please let me know if you're here. I've got a really important... It's okay, I'm hard of hearing already. I guess an announcement. How to script a thing of real life. I need to move away from the noise. I see no one's here.
That is the way to the train station.
I'm in Hertford, as always. Hello. I'll be out of the noise in just a minute. On my street, I keep seeing little children with their hands over their ears and their fingers in their ears, and they get diagnosed with autism. But the thing is, it is loud. It's really loud. Almost there. Hello. Reasonably presentable today. Run. Oh no, wrong lights. Running for a red light when I'm not a car. Too bad it fails. What failed? Someone in comments. OTF. Too bad what failed. What, looking presentable? Just block. Ban user, delete comment. Aye. Almost there. Right. Like me. Go. Waddle. He walks like a duck. Talks like a duck. Probably is a duck. My favourite sayings. Hello, hello. Somebody's already been banned, deleted. Just wasting their lives online, making crass comments at people who have real lives offline. Came out. So, just have to tell this as it is. I had a Patreon page. I had just 2 supporters on, really encouraging for me. 2 people who know me, actually. I started writing my autobiography on March the 21st, 2024. I was working off a laptop connected to the internet, and it incidentally was bought secondhand. The camera didn't work on there, which was perfect for me. And like the idea of being observed while I'm trying to type. And I was having big problems writing because of the arthritis in my sacrum and Ehlers-Danlos, how much of an impact that has on me month in, month out. Also, sort of relating to incidences starting in the 1980s to the early 90s that happened 20 miles down the road in Hampstead. Furthermore, my dad, who was an unconvicted paedophile, familial, is buried 2 miles away, not in any professional counselling, that kind of thing. I'd shelved this project because I actually spilt Pepsi on my laptop. What happened, and at the same time, I made of emailing my draft to a journalist who it's nothing to do with him, just somebody I met actually on a dating app. He was actually a sports journalist. I just really sent it to him. It was naive, it was immature of me. I shouldn't have sent this work because it wasn't online. And also then I sort of started editing, which when I'm doing a first, shouldn't really be like editing in that way. Okay, so that was a mistake. But I basically went project for about a month while my laptop, I didn't have money to laptop. But I was editing away and I ended up with like 3,500 perfect words of prose, really, I suppose. With misgivings about where I'm living in relation to the story that I was telling. For whatever reason, I can't point any fingers because I don't know, but because I'm alleging without any recourse to go to the police, because it's historical allegations of child sexual exploitation that relate to approximately 1987. I was too young. I wasn't the only person, wasn't the only child involved. So it's been reported to the foundation, so it's on record in case anyone else came forward from that time and place in Hampstead in the 1980s. But in 2016, when the whole thing was Trump off, I was following Bernie Sanders and I had other things going on in my life, and Pizzagate never came anywhere near my attention. There's no such thing as the internet. You have your corner on the internet. Somebody else realistically is looking at a different internet. So it wasn't until 2020 Glenn Maxwell and Jeffrey said, I know those people that tried to abduct me from Kenwood Park when I was about 7. And that's the woman that was occasionally there at the yoga studio that I was going to in about 87. So I'd have been 6. So I had memories of this stuff for a long time, but it wasn't until 2020 they started through, and it was terrifying. And and especially in stuff with my dad as well, like cat for years. And anyhow, obviously I've had drug issues since I was on and off since I was 12, a lot of off, but then also prescribed a lot of medications. So maybe for this reason that the media want you to believe that Epstein's sex trafficking ring involved willing girls who were looking at a career option and not recruited as children, and there was no real minors involved. If that's the narrative that to believe, I was trying on my side of the story, especially as my baby was forcibly adopted. There's a lot to my story. Maybe people don't want you to have that viewpoint on the Epstein sex trafficking or just in general human trafficking. They want you to think that exploitation of children is really rare. So just take you back to March 21st, I started writing. About a month later, I stopped. And then I picked up again and had my Patreon, and I felt things were really hot. I didn't feel comfortable. I have a noise constantly bothering me at night. Well, it actually can be any time of the day when it's quiet. My neighbour upstairs can hear it as well. I keep my fan on now, the electric fan on at all times, so I can't hear it. Like, will drive you nuts. I can't sleep with that noise. 20th of June, for about the third time, not in a row, consecutive days, but about the third time, I believe, there's a man outside on the street outside my window playing a guitar as if he's a busker. But the problem is he's playing not a real chord, like a discordant note of some kind, over and over again. So he's not playing a song. It happened about twice before when I'd been at home, maybe half an hour, the guy goes. This time I'd had enough. I happened to go out, kind of shouldered him, not enough to knock him over. I mean, I only weigh like 10 stone. I didn't go into him hard. And he stayed standing and stayed playing that discord over and over again. And I said quite loudly, there was a sunny day, there was plenty of people about. The street is like the main street through town. And I said, this is the worst guitar playing I've ever heard in my life. Next thing I know, there's a man standing next to him I hadn't even noticed somehow, who's in an orange high vis, standing right next to the busker, and it says security on it. And he's like grappling with me. And I say, you're not a real security guard. You're not a real busker. What busker has a security man standing next to him? In this grapple where I was being like just riddled around, grappled about, somebody from somewhere comes along and I have 3 needle marks in my arm, in my left arm. My right arm. I have 3 scratches and they let me go. And I leave the situation like, wow, I just walked away from that. But I didn't walk very far, maybe 3, 4, 5 minutes, and I started to come up on a lot of drugs. A lot. Only by dint of the fact I've been prescribed opiates for over 10 years. I've actually taken 2 overdoses of opiates that would have killed most people that I walked away from. I have a very high tolerance to opiates, so I suppose this was supposed to look like an overdose. There was a lot of drugs. Where I was, I didn't have any options of where to go except for a pub where they know my face. I went in there, it was quiet. I said to them, I've been spiked. How? I don't know how they've done this, but I'm on a lot of drugs. And they just me out. They just were like totally fine with me. To those people, they waved me up, go like sit in the garden. I went and sat in for maybe an hour and a half, just riding on this drug. Like, I guess fortunately for me, I hate to call myself an experienced drug user because that makes it sound like I know everything. But like I said, I've been prescribed drugs, especially on for a long time. Like, it's not like I'm 17-year-old. I'm 43, okay? So it was horrendous. Maybe an hour and a half, I leave the pub, I go out. I was feeling like I needed to move on. There was other people in the garden. And I just walked through town, and actually it was as if a veil had been removed. Because, I live in a small town. It's like the size of a university. There are people the same street every day that use that street every day. But it was like everyone could see the physical pain in my body. Usual. I guess a lot of the time that's veiled. And I just rode this situation out. It happened I'd say about 2 p.m. 8:30, my lodger came home from work. I'd already packed a bag. I don't know where I thought I was going. And she basically put me out the house. And was like, whatever. I'd been having so much trouble sleeping with unaddressed pain problems and noise. So in a roundabout way, I wound up checking a hotel in my town. I spent 2 days in there. They put me in a really quiet room up the top. I had a really good time in there, considering, thanking my lucky stars that I survived an overdose attempt. I mean, I guess effectively what, an attempted murder. I'd also knocked on my neighbour's door upstairs, and she said to me, you better report this to the police. And in actual fact, before I came on this live stream, I did phone 101, because the journalist who I sent my work to, which was it was almost incidental that he was a journalist, but it's the fact that he's a writer. He's not, his area is sports, not anything to do with this. He does not answer the phone to me. He does not respond to text messages. I suppose he's already been warned not to speak to me, and he has to protect himself and his family first. I totally get that. But I did just hang up on a call from 101 because I was on hold for like 20 minutes, and I just thought, okay, I need to share this. Realistically, what I want to do is talk about this anonymously. In a short form, I guess, with journalists that are covering Epstein. I don't need my name and face attached to it, and this YouTube channel is nothing. Was that 100 people that come through here regularly? And, interest in being here is that I trained in performing arts. I guess I eventually got a creative writing degree, 2 years of it with theatre. It's back in 2007. I collated all the poetry I wrote, and I was getting publications, and then I published under a pen name The White Rabbit on a website that you can find on the Wayback Machine. And that, I don't really fully understand how that connects to everything else, that was my pen name. It was 2008. I have no opinion on Trump except to say that politics is theatre. All right, I can't endorse somebody that I've never met. I have no opinion on that. All I have an opinion on is that Epstein and Matt were in the business of recruiting each of child for sexual exploitation. And that Glenn Maxwell was in London, in Hampstead, in around 1997, and certainly by 1991, possibly 92. It's difficult to tell because I'm born like right at the end of the year. But basically, when I was about 11, those two attempted to abduct me from Kenwood Park. The only witness to that is my dad, who ran behind me, grabbed me. He's dead. And then I'm not going to forget my place in the material world. I was a child prostitute. I'm now an unmarried woman in her 40s who spent maybe 6 years in psych units, has had my medical records basically whitewashed, who's been given a lot of drugs to forget. And I can't forget now. And I have no backup. Exposure is better for me because more means if this happens again and I die, you know why I died. And I have no intentions to unalive myself. I have my child's name tattooed on my left wrist, so I cannot cut my wrist because she's ahead of me. If there's any target in now, they're finished with me. Right? Someone told me at 27 I was too old to get married. I have a child in care. Please share this recording. Maybe tell people to start from 5 minutes in. I need you guys to know this is what happened to me. Thank you. By the way, it is Save the Children, but we do grow up and we shit on a lot of people's shoes, right? That's all we are. So you can say Save the Children all you want. I can't go to the police about what happened to me. I was too young. It's not a case. But I will do this. I will make the 101 report about what happened, like my neighbour told me to. So it's on record. Maybe I'll end up reporting what happened in Hampstead, so it's on record. Because I can't have people telling me don't speak. Because if it's some kind of, I don't know what to call it, I have no other record. But there's no situation of money here. I don't have a case. So there's no issue of money. I don't understand how people will say that you will speak about that. And if you're a famous person, then by proxy, am I chasing fame? There's no clout to be had to be saying, my dad was having sex with me when I was 7, or anything else that I've mentioned in this life. What was doesn't gain me anything. And if there was really justice, Glenn Maxwell would have spoken up from where she is. And quite honestly, there would be a form of justice for the survivors. God bless you all. And look after your family, because for those of you that have children, every minute that you spend looking at your screen is a minute that your child goes without your attention. And their youth will be over like that. You need to look after your children. All right? So get off your phone, go and speak to your children, go and play with them, go and do something fun with them. They're trying to learn. They're trying to learn how to be here in the world. And if that's too much for you, somebody else will look after your kids, okay? Take care. Please help people. I mean, what else am I to do? I'm going to go and buy some shorts.